everybody. It is Christine. As you can see, I've been in the planning process of my Stamp and Stencil Savvy hop here, and I got my water bottle. Y'all, this is a cool water bottle. I found it on TikTok shop, and my daughter got it for my birthday, and it measures how many ounces you've drunk. I haven't drunk much today, so that's kind of a cool little thing. Got it for my birthday. So my Stamp and Stencil Saturday, let me start with this. My photo's my daddy. They were on a road trip, and my stepmom is so great about taking pictures of him, and he's funny. And our challenge this month is to stamp on a photo, and I love this little stamp here. It says, "You're never too old to do goofy stuff," and I'm hopeful it'll show up on top of this. That's my plan. And I have Memento ink to go on top of that. I'm at it and all that kind of stuff. And then what I've got here is a June 2025 Flavors of the Month from Scrap Room. I need to use it. And I have these stencils. I'm going to see about these. I've got these. It's like a little star one. And then like a little, I don't know, circly looking bits here. And I pulled out, by the way, I used my little swatcher. I don't know why I didn't do this ages ago. This is so easy now to like find some colors that kind of go. I don't have a ginormous collection. I have an okay collection. And I'm thinking that this Modlon and this scattered straw will work pretty good with these papers. So I pulled those out. And what I have left is 3 pieces of pattern paper plus cardstock. I have gotten into it a little bit, not a lot, but I used the stickers. I still have a tiny little bit of ephemera, but it may not be appropriate. I mean, it is summertime, but I don't know if it's going to work. And I do still have this Squeeze the Day Summer Lovin' stuff here. So I'm going to set that aside for the moment. I think I'm going to try to use this sketch as inspiration. It's 2 pictures, and I have 1 picture. So we'll see. I do like the fact that it's got the 2 horizontals and then the circle, though. So I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to gut this here and use this to mat this white, because I'm going to use the white as the... Is that 2 pieces or 1? That's 1 piece. Is that 1 piece? It's a nice thick piece of cardstock. So I'm thinking I'll do that. I'll gut that. I think I'll make it the circle in the middle. And then these 2 pieces here I'll end up using horizontally. And then I have to tell you, I love these clouds. I may fussy cut some of these clouds out too, which is why I wasn't certain about my stencil. I'm not sure I'm going to use the stars. I may end up using this so I can somehow mix the clouds in. I don't know, y'all. I've got to see how things start to come together. So, and plus I just love these little stickers. There's some cute things on here. There's some little wordy bits and stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, there's no piece of cardstock. Okay, so let me do this. Let me cut this down, gut this, mount it. I need to go make a circle as well, so I think I'll run and do that real quick. And what would we say that is? I don't know. Where's my numbers on this thing? Maybe a 9-inch circle, let's call it. 9-inch circle. I think I have a 9-inch circle thing. I got the circle cutter. I could use my silhouette, but honestly, I'm a little traumatized from what I did yesterday. That's a different story, y'all. Okay, let me do the homework back. I'll be back on in a second. So, y'all, I may need to rename this episode the What Not to Do episode by Christine. The first thing I do, well, let me just kind of get started, and then I'll tell you where I went wrong. So, I have already gutted my, well, actually, I've already done something wrong that you didn't even see. So, you can see I've got that stripe paper, and I have gutted it, except for the fact that what I did wrong is I started to cut... I cut the white scrap or the white cardstock down by a 1/2 inch on both sides. And I typically, when I do that size, I'll cut in on my frame paper into the 2 inches, because I just don't want, I want to have enough on the outside to kind of support the layout as a whole. Well, by doing that, I would have made it too small. And I realized that as soon as I made the first cut, I go, oh shoot, if I do this, my circle might be too small. So I went ahead and got my cutter, and I caught myself in time, and I was able to cut my circle. So I only had 1 cut that wasn't supposed to be there. So that was okay. Problem number 1. Problem number 2, you just saw. I cut those 2 horizontal pieces. Well, in the sketch, the one piece is slightly longer than the other, and I sat there and cut them the same length. Now, again, all these mistakes that I do make, I will tell you, are essentially fixable. So if I give you any encouragement, is when you do something, quote, wrong, don't worry about it. There's probably a solution some kind of way. So I trimmed down the one little sheet, the one little horizontal piece by 1/2 inch, and now my horizontal pieces are different sizes, so we're okay. Now here's where I'm going to pull out my stencil, and I kind of look at that, and because I want to do something as Stamp and Stencil Savvy, right? So I'm looking at it, and then I thought, you know what, I need to mount my photo because it's kind of throwing me off. It's the white on the other. I'm actually going to rotate those stripes, by the way, too. Initially, I thought to make them match the frame, and I end up rotating them to be horizontal to the photo, and I like it a lot better, but I'll do that a little bit later on. So I decided to go ahead and mat the photo on the yellow. The green stripe just, that definitely didn't look right next to the other stripes, and so I didn't go that direction. So I ended up using the yellow, and I think this looks kind of cute. It's a soft little photo mat. It works out. So I'm kind of looking at this, and I think, oh, where am I going to put my stencils? And I thought, well, should I put some on the yellow or the stripe there next to the photo? I kind of contemplate that for just a second, and I decide not to, ultimately. I think, no, I don't want to lose, you know, I just think it would have lost something. So I decide against it, and I end up deciding I'm going to put them in the little corners or whatever. But then I think, oh, I need to stamp my photo. That's the main challenge, right? And I get this Memento ink. Y'all, that is not the right kind of ink. I don't know what I was thinking. Memento is what I typically use if I'm going to stamp and then color with like a Copic. So I stamp on that picture, and at first I'm kind of like, first off, I wasn't happy because it's really hard to see. I thought it was going to be a little darker. I don't know what I thought. I thought it'd be a little bit more stand outish on that food. Like even though what I end up doing is not quite as much as I want, but it's better than what I do. But it's sitting there, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, that's fine. But y'all, that's not correct, and I'll end up having to fix that. So I decide on the little circle here, I want to go ahead and ink the edge with some of the ink here because it just needed something. And I knew I was going to use on the stencils and all that, so I'm just going to introduce this little yellow inking on the edges here. Now, I scuffed the edges of the horizontal pieces. I decided not to ink those because it is the yellow and the green. So in my head, I'm going, okay, I've already kind of got the yellow and the green, so I'm just going to scuff the edges of those. So I'll just pull out my little Some Assemblies Required one. Y'all, I do realize I have like 3 Tim Holtz ones over here, and I still bought this one. It's a little bigger, and I just think it's a little easier to hold in my hand. So that takes me just a second, and once I do that, I think I glue everything together from a photo block standpoint. I don't glue it down to the white piece of paper yet, because again, I do need to introduce my inks. And then you'll see, I don't even know if that's mistake number 4 or whatever. It's freaking layout. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start gluing these pieces together. So my blocks. I don't actually end up cutting out those clouds. I thought about it. I really almost did. And I still may do that yet because I have some of that paper left, but not quite yet. Here's where I go, oh, you know what? I actually prefer that horizontally. And I know it's different than the stuff on the outside, but I actually prefer it. I think it looks better. So this is when I realized, no, I have to use Stays-On because as I was touching that photo, that Memento just wiped right off. It just wiped right off. So I go, oh, shoot, Christine, you got to use Stays-On. That's what stays on your photographs. So then I thought, well, I wasn't even happy anyway with the first one that I did. So I go, you know what? I'm going to run off and get this little Stampin' Up tool. It's a really old tool. I don't even know what it's called anymore, like Stampin' a Line or something like that. But the way you use it is you stamp on the little plasticky thing that comes with it. This is for use with woodblock stamps, by the way, not your acrylics and things like that when you can't see. And you stamp on there first to see, like with your little guide, where's it going to end up. And then you set it where you think you want it to go and make the little guide match the plasticky thing. And then you move the plasticky thing and then you put your stamp down. And I'm so sorry, my camera cut off because I had an alarm set. I was sitting here at lunchtime and I needed to wrap it up by a certain time so I could join a meeting, and it went and shut my camera off. So my apologies, you didn't get to see the whole thing. I might do that on a future video so you can kind of see how to use that tool. I don't know if it's still available. I assume it is. Couldn't tell you for sure. I've had it for probably 15 years, so I do find it handy though with the woodblock stamps. So here's where I got the stencil, and I thought, you know, I got this cute stencil. I don't use the whole thing. I kind of pick out a couple of the little patterns of it. As you can see, I kind of have this little starburst piece. I did do a test on underneath the backside where I knew the circle was going to be first to see how the green and the yellow, I wanted to kind of blend them out or whatever. And so I did do that behind where the circle is first. And then I've done these other pieces out here on basically on a diagonal. And I did the first one like green and yellow, and then I do a yellow, and then I'll do a little green. And so it's just kind of this neat little, I don't know, I guess it looks kind of like a starburst or something. I don't know what it's meant to be. It's geometric. But it looks kind of cute there. And I'll add the green next. I'm trying to find which shape I like. And I almost went tiny, and then I thought, no, I've got the little yellow tiny, so I went a little bit bigger with the green here. So you can kind of see the little wedges are a little bit bigger. I had to flip it over upside down. And so I got my green. And again, you can see, I've showed this before, but I've got my green handle for my green inks and my yellow handle for my yellow inks. And I really enjoy that too, because it keeps me from having to be so worried about like, oh gosh, I don't want my green mixed in with, you know, a pink or something if I grab the wrong handle or it's the same one or something like that, whatever. So that looks pretty cute. This is actually coming together pretty good, even with all the boo-boos I make. The next boo-boo I make, I think is going to be the ink splatter thing. So, okay, I got my daddy's picture. It's stamped already now with the stays on. I got my stencils down. I'm finally making some good progress, right? And so I decide, okay, I want to do some little splatters. And so I take my green, I squirt a little water on it, and then I take a brush, but it's so dry, you guys. Like I try to bend it and all that kind of stuff. And I try to use this and I go to sprinkle it. Y'all, it doesn't it doesn't pick anything up. And I realize, oh, you gotta have water in your cup or something. The brush has to have a little flexibility. So yeah, problem number like 5. I don't even know. Like I don't even know. I've lost count. I have so many things I've done wrong with this layout. So I added my water. I got my water cup there. I got my little bit of water to the ink, and that's working now. So I got my green. I'm gonna come back in with my yellow and just add a few more little sprinkles. And I think this looks really cute. I contemplated doing like, I think I'm going to start doing a little more like stamping inside these things, because I've mentioned her name several times. Sarah Davies will do this. I've seen other people do it where you'll put like little stamps or whatever. And I think it looks kind of neat. It offers different textures and things. And I don't know why I don't do it. I think I get impatient, and I need to really do that because I think it turns out so pretty. In this case, I think we're okay. I mean, the whole point was to use the stencil and well, stamp on the photo. So I've met the challenge at this point, you guys. I've met the challenge. So at least I did that. I'm going to glue this down. And I think at this point too, I don't know that I screw anything else up. I think everything else goes as planned. So I think I only made, 5 boo-boos this layout. And yet it actually turns out pretty cute, you guys. I'm actually happy with this. My dad looks really cute. He's grinning. By the way, if you've watched me for any time at all, some of you have for a long time, and I really appreciate you guys, and you've been very kind. And my dad, has had health issues for the last several years, and he has now had some therapies and stuff, and he is walking. My bonus mom texted me the other day, and he walked 40 steps with his walker, and then he walked another 40 steps, and then he walked 85 steps. I mean, his goal is to obviously walk eventually without the walker. But, honestly, if he's mobile himself, that's the best thing. Because my dad is a very big man. He's 6'3", and he has gained the weight that he had lost back. He had lost quite a bit of weight. You guys, again, if you've seen for any length of time, he lost like 100 pounds. Well, he likes to eat, you guys. So this food right here, he likes to eat. So he's put his weight back on. And my poor bonus mom is like 5'2", and she's trying to move him around and help him move around. And bless her little heart, sometimes he's just too big for her. So the more mobile he can get on his own, the easier it is for both of them. And they do go out. She takes him out. I'm so pleased too, because she takes him traveling. They still go do things. I mean, they were just on a road trip about a month ago. Went up and saw some friends in Chicago and all kinds of stuff. And I just love that he's still doing that. Yeah, he will be 77 this year, or this next year rather. So he's doing good. I mean, for considering all the stuff he's gone through. So the title is going to end up being Good Vibes. That was the one sticker on the sticker sheet, and I think it fits really nicely down there in the corner. I find this it looks like little hotel keys. It says Happy Place. I'm going to move that though. I decided I don't want that up there in just a minute. I think I find this little kite, and I thought the little kite was cute. Has nothing to do with nothing, except my dad has on kind of a little blue-gray shirt, and I thought the little kite has that, it has that little blue-gray kind of feeling to it, and his skin, and all. It just gave me the sense of the colors in the photo, so I thought that looked really cute up there. Plus, that looks kind of like a sun to me. I almost stuck that cloud with that sun on there, and I thought, no, I don't want to hide my stencil work there. So I put the little cloud, or the little kite up there, and I've moved the keys down to the bottom, and I think that looks really cute. I'm going to put these little tabs here. I start off with one color, and I go, no, that's too close to the other. So I'm with a blue and a floral. I really enjoy that. As you can see, also on the left-hand side of there, I did a whole bunch of little wordy bits. That's kind of part of the sketch. That was showing all those little wordy bits over there. And I think I'm going to find a bunch of little hearts and just kind of put these around. I wouldn't even call them necessarily visual triangles. I do put them in kind of groups of 3, though. So they kind of go around the layout just a little bit. And that takes me a second. I could have added some other things, y'all. I mean, I'm in a little bit of a hurry. Brookie texted me and said that if I'll help her cook donuts, then we can work on our Cultivate What Matters stuff, which is our goal setting stuff that we do. I haven't actually made a video on it in a while. I was making videos with the both of us, but then our schedules just kind of diverged, and it was really difficult for us to both sit down and do it at the same time. So that's the only reason we haven't had the videos. We have been doing our goal setting each month. It's just not on video. So, so there's my little hearts. And then I was putting stuff away and I realized this little piece here that I had shown you in the beginning had fallen. And I go, oh, that Squeeze the Day. That's a cute little stair-stepped wordy bit that fits right there in that corner. So I put that there. I may come back and journal around the circle in the upper left. I don't really know. But it's a cute spot for it, so I might. But there you go. I'm kind of showing you the stamping on the photo, and then here's the stencil work. And I finally got this layout done, you guys, without messing it up too bad. There's the stamp on the photo. I actually have used white ink before too, so just so you know, it is doable. You just have to have the right kind of ink for it to fit on, to stay on your photo. And Stays On is a good black one, and actually they're white ones as well. So I hope you guys have a great time. Check out the playlist below, and we'll see you next time. Bye.